Thank you, Senior Associate Dean Kameen, Senior Dean Justiz, Associate Dean Malik, distinguished guests, faculty, families, the entire graduate assembly, and of course, the 2014 graduating class. I'd like to start by saying what a thrill it is to be here. As you can imagine, faculty are invited to attend a lot of these ceremonies, and it is true, we fall slightly short of 100% participation. But I can tell you this, I enjoy going, and I make it whenever possible. So to be here today, not only in attendance, but to deliver this speech is an incredible honor. And in the rest of my short talk, I'd like to share why I consider graduation such a special and unique event, while hopefully weaving in some important themes for us all to consider. Let's start with the lighter side. Look at this getup. Where else can a Jewish kid from suburban Detroit get to dress up like an archbishop? The answer, not many. Secondly, it's really good, cheap entertainment. There are so many unofficial, unregulated, yet strangely entertaining competitions. Let's see, we have most creative cap design, best footwear, women and men's division, of course, most dynamic graduation dance, and my favorite, the loudest Texan family. Let's try that again. The loudest Texan family. That's better. See, that's worth the price of admission right there. Now some reasons graduation is such a unique event that go a bit deeper. The pride. I love the sense of pride that permeates the room today. It's everywhere, in the faces of the siblings, parents, and especially the grandparents. And pride is a special emotion, one often better felt than verbalized. And today, that sense of pride is palpable. The focus. At graduation, everyone with us, right here, right now, is really with us in the here and now. Unlike my 3-hour undergraduate course on Monday afternoons, I see nobody tweeting, tumbling, vining, Facebooking, or Instagramming. With the emergence of social media, many of us, myself included, have become far less social. Too often we are looking down at various screens, missing out on genuine contact with our real friends and family. But fortunately, those tendencies seem to not apply at graduation, and that's a good thing. The final reasons I love graduation go a bit deeper. They're a bit more serious, reflective, and yes, even sad. Why might there be sadness during such an uplifting event? Well, many. Sometimes the sadness is held by the parents in the room. Graduation is yet another reminder that your girls and boys are now, without question, women and men. Other times, graduation snaps us back to earlier times in our own lives, perhaps our own graduation or other key transitional moments. The day naturally leads us to reflect on the paths we have taken and those we did not. I remember my own graduation and the days that followed quite well. I was excited, but terrified. I had no idea of where I was going, nor where I'd end up. My first job was as a prep cook at an Italian restaurant in Ann Arbor, Michigan. I spent long shifts shucking mussels and cleaning shrimp. It wasn't a lot of fun, as you can imagine, and I quickly realized I needed a new gig. I caught my first professional break, one of many, as a research assistant at UT Southwestern Medical Center. That gave me some great experience, which helped me get into graduate school, then eventually to my appointment here, ironically as we now prepare for the launch of our own medical school. Some of you graduates know exactly where you're headed. You have a clear vision. Others might feel more like I did when I was your age and need time to figure it out. A sense of loss. For still others out there, the tinge of sadness, expressed or otherwise, may represent a sense of loss. True enough, you have just closed a chapter on one heck of a fun time. And now, it's time to write the next chapter. Those pages are blank, but won't be for long. Your friends and family know the story you write will be a good one, but it won't always be easy or as fluid as these last few years at UT Austin. You've been surrounded by amazing friends. You'll continue to have them, but in different times and spaces. And let's talk about your education. Taking and excelling in classes at UT is indeed a privilege. You've been taught and mentored by some of the best professors in the world. And now you have to seek out those learning opportunities. Time passing quickly. For you graduates, this may be one of the first times in your life where you have this weird feeling the rest of us know all too well. Wow, that went by fast. And I can tell you now, that one doesn't go away. So let's step back for a minute. Is this really just a doom and gloom commencement speech? My answer, an emphatic no. You see, here's the real deal. Sometimes it takes a little sadness, a shakeup, some anxiety, or even a few tears to facilitate insights that can spring us into action. To support this view, I want to share some themes from one of my favorite commencement speeches, given by a guy named Steve Jobs at Stanford University. In his speech, Jobs shared the deeply personal story of when he was diagnosed with a rare form of pancreatic cancer. This news ended up transforming him personally and professionally. Why? Well, for him, the thought of dying enabled him to embrace his time living. Realizing that time was moving quickly made him more aware of the need to act purposefully, each and every day. He learned to do what he wanted, not what others wanted him to do. This was 2005. At the time, he was given months to live. As we know now, he exceeded those predictions by about 6 years. And while he left us too early, he left quite an imprint on culture and technology. So what does this message mean for you? Well, for starters, find meaning in what you do. Make each day count. Realize the feeling that time is moving quickly is not going anywhere. Make that time count. Have your post-UT life just as special as your days here living in Austin, Texas. And speaking of UT, I wanted to bring in the words of a guy who had a pretty good professional run of his own, William Mack Brown, who's also in the past been a commencement speaker for our college. Now this comes with a bit of a backstory. I'm a sucker for motivating sports clips, pre-game, halftime, post-game talks, I take them all. This likely has something to do with my research in the psychology of men and masculinity. Too often, men struggle identifying and expressing deeper, more vulnerable emotions. But frequently, these male codes of conduct seem to not apply to football fields, locker rooms, or MVP ceremonies, as we recently saw with the former UT student Kevin Durant's amazing acceptance speech just a few weeks ago. So back to Mack. The context. In a game I'm sure all of us remember, UT had just dramatically beaten USC in the Rose Bowl. 4th and 5, Vince Young, January 4th, 2006. One of the best national championship games ever. So what did Mack Brown say to his team after the win? Well, he started by saying how proud he was of everyone and that they should cherish the moment. He emphasized how everyone played an important role and nobody will ever take that away from them. But then, he added something unexpected and truly remarkable. He said something like this: "While this is special, promise me one thing. Promise me this won't be the best moment in your life. Don't have this be the high point. You are each much more than the result of the game you just finished. Don't have this championship define you. This is just the beginning." 2014 College of Education graduates, this same message applies to you. There's a commonly accepted notion that the best years of your life are spent in college. My recommendation, don't buy it. Make the next phase of your life even better. Create more memories, more peak moments, more real friends. Find and seek out learning experiences. Be a lifelong learner. Give back. Recognize the support you have received from others to be successful. Now go support others. Know how proud you have made your friends and family. Now go be proud of others. And for you future teachers out there, never doubt how important of a role you will have in the lives of your students. Nothing, and I mean nothing, in the lives of those who teach is purely academic. So in closing, please remember a few things. First, go ahead and be happy and sad at graduation or other huge moments in your life. Sometimes the tears or resistance to those tears can be thought of as a refreshing reminder that what you have just finished is truly special. Second, and finally, never forget where you came from or who helped you get there. And when you think about where you came from, remember this: you started here at Texas. Now go change the world. Thank you, and hook 'em horns.